Hi, BookTube. I was going to say welcome to a tag video, but really what I should probably say is welcome also to a learning curve. I mean, you've probably noticed, hey, there's something different about today's video. There is. Marion from the channel Writer in Rwanda. She reached out by email and she made some suggestions to me, how I could improve the sound quality on this channel. And I'll confess, it's been on my mind since last March when David from Polyglot Reading and I did a combined Middlemarch meditation, and the sound was not good. And I can imagine you thinking now, well, wow, so you've known about this issue for 10 months, but you haven't done anything about it. No, I haven't. And I have an explanation for why I didn't do anything, but I'm not going to use up video time in this video to talk about that. We'll talk about it some other time, okay? So what I've decided to do is stop using that combined webcam microphone that I had, which connected to my laptop by a USB port. Not going to use that anymore. I'm going to record my headshot portion on my mobile phone. That bit's easy. The bit that it requires the learning is how to take this headshot and work with it and still create the backgrounds that I need, still have, for example, for Middlemarch meditation, still have text on the page that I can move. I have to figure that out. So if this video in other aspects looks a bit ropey, hopefully the sound will be much improved and the image sharper, but it's the other things. But we'll work on the other things. We'll get better at them. But I thought you'd probably tolerate that today because this is just a tag. So it's a fun video. And so the tag. Now this tag was a collaboration. You may have seen, and if you haven't, you need to go to her channel. Meg at Books Off the Beaten Path. You need to go there and follow her. Right? And then watch the video that she did this last Tuesday, which was this same tag. We'd sort of messed about until we got an idea for questions. And then I decided that I'd like to call it a week in the life tag. There's preparation involved here. See, it's not as simple as other tags where you just answer some questions. You've got to do a week of logging the time that you spend reading, and logging the time that you spend preparing to do videos, filming, editing, the whole show. What time does it take for you to be a booktuber in every way that you are a booktuber? Of course, I created an Excel spreadsheet because I work in finance, and that's what finance people do when they want to record data. And I covered the period from the 1st of December to the 7th of December. That seemed like a pretty typical week in terms of time. So on the basis of the data that I gathered during that week, I'm now going to go ahead and answer my own tag questions. And I'll ask the first question, which is, how much time was I able to spend reading during the week? And that came out to 6 hours. And I'm going to talk about that a little later. I was surprised that it wasn't more, or maybe more disappointed that it wasn't more. But as you see the time that I spend on other aspects of BookTube, it'll become clear maybe why reading gets a bit not pushed out, but maybe has to fight for its space. And that leads to the second question, which is, how much time was I able to spend making YouTube content? Now, I broke that up into different categories because for my sake, I wanted to see how much time was it taking me to do different aspects of getting ready to make content. So firstly, the writing. Now, the writing does take me a lot of time. In that week, I spent more time writing, about an hour more writing than I did reading. That doesn't necessarily bother me. When I started this channel, what really mattered to me was, can I have a hobby which asks me to read, but also to write in a thoughtful, analytical, research-based way about what I have read. So I'm satisfied. I'm satisfied with my reading and writing being roughly the same time as each other. And they are, although I'm thinking, wouldn't mind getting another hour of reading in there, but that's another point. So after writing, though, there was the business of preparing for filming. That takes me a little more time, and I'll explain some reasons why. It takes me more time to prepare for filming because I cannot dedicate a space. I don't have a room of my own, Virginia Woolf's desire. And if you don't have a room of your own, then what you have to be prepared to do is know where all your different equipment and bits are and move them to the place where you can film. And then maybe move them again and again and again. You'll see right now I'm in our bedroom. I usually record in our second bedroom, which we use as an office, and also the front room. The second bedroom, however, that has a tumble dryer in it, and it's drying our clothes right now. The person who watches television is watching television. So unless I wanted to use the kitchen or the bathroom, and I don't really see those as suitable places for YouTube filming, unless I was going to talk specifically about activities that took place in those rooms. So I have to really spend a lot of time setting up, moving lights in order to have better light in the room that I want to choose. And I still don't have light exactly the way I'd like it, but I do my best. It's only, I don't think I'm going to buy a spotlight or something. And then I'll admit too, I do spend time getting my hair ready, doing makeup, which again, as a female booktuber, I know some people come to the camera without makeup, and this is not a judgment. Everybody reacts to getting on camera by worrying more about their own face than they do about anybody else's. Everybody else's face always seems to look better than one's own. So yeah, I do take time for that. That's a carryover from work. I would never appear on a Zoom or Teams call without my hair and makeup looking good. I just felt that was professional. And I think that's just bled over into BookTube land. So then finally, when I've done the lighting checks and where we've done a couple of sound checks usually, although that was the old system. I haven't done a sound check with my phone because I presume my phone microphone works. We'll find out, won't we? And then I do the filming, and the filming actually doesn't take very much time. I just spent a little over 3 hours filming, and that was to make 3 separate videos. So it takes me about an hour from start to finish to get that done. And then editing's a little less than filming, but that can vary. Middlemarch meditation, way more editing. This could be more editing now, this new method. I will find out. Question 3 asks, how much are you able to plan your reading and stick to a plan? Well, I can plan my reading time, but it is a plan that cannot forecast too far ahead. I don't have fixed days where I know I'm going to read. Since I aim to present content twice per week, so that's my goal. So that means I've got to schedule in the writing and the preparation. What I tend to do every day is think about, okay, today, what's the most important thing that I can do to further my BookTube channel and keep up with my schedule? What should I do today? So reading days happen when I think, hey, hang on, I've got a window of time here where I can read because nothing else is more urgent. And that's when I will just go ahead and do a big block of reading. I haven't had as much time off from work as I normally would have. And again, I'll explain that in a different video. So often days off help me. I can use some of that time to read more or write more and therefore have time to read on other days. The next question is, how much are you able to plan your content creation and stick to that plan? So I think I've covered that already just by talking about how I fit in reading. Right now I can fit everything in and I still have time for other things. One thing I don't have a question about, and that's the category that I haven't covered yet, is time to watch YouTube, to watch other creators. I do a lot of watching of YouTube when I'm doing other things that would prevent me from writing or reading. For example, riding my stationary bike for exercise. I tend to watch YouTube then. I watch YouTube when I'm cooking. I batch cook at the weekends. And so I'm in the kitchen for 2.5, 3 hours just getting food together. And that's a great time to stand the laptop on a stand and just play some videos through. And question 5 is, what are the top 3 challenges that I think I face in making content and continuing the way I am? And I think obviously one is making sure I have a location to film. That can be tricky and it can take negotiation and working out, and also having the right equipment. The challenge now with this new method might be, how much time does editing start to take? Does it take more? Will I get as quick as I was with editing previously. And I think the third thing is time to read, because I was a little taken aback by my reading figure. I thought it would be more. I thought it might be more like 8 hours I thought surely I spend at least a working day reading, but I don't. So I am now actively thinking of what am I going to do to get more reading time fit in. So that's the nature of question 6. Question 6 says, are there any changes you're thinking of making to increase or decrease the time you spend reading and or making content? And I want to focus on my reading because I would like to increase the amount of time that I read. So what I did try the other night was setting up my laptop. My stationary bike will hold my laptop. And of course, I've got the Kindle app on there. So I tried last night opening up an ebook and seeing if I could read and pedal at a decent speed. And I can. And actually, I was quite absorbed by the book and my exercise time went past and I hardly noticed it, which is great because I'm not wild about exercise, but I know I need to do it. So the stationary bike works perfectly for that. I'm less sure how I could read more physical books. That's going to be a bit trickier to work out. I did think perhaps I should do some more reading on my lunch hours at work, but those can also end up being errand running times. It's not always easy to be absolutely sure I get that whole hour to myself. And sometimes I'm a little bit brain tired from work. So lunch breaks, sometimes I want to do something less demanding than reading a book. But I do need, I think, to schedule in more time somehow. I've got to work on a way. So we'll see how that goes. So that's all the tag questions done. And I found it really, really interesting just how much time I spend on YouTube in total in a week, 31 hours, which is, well, it's a part-time job on top of my full-time job. And then there's other stuff on top of that. So it does keep me really busy. But I must admit right now, that's exactly what I need. I really, really need something, a hobby that really fills my time and my brain. And BookTube really does that. I took the person who watches television out to lunch a few days ago because it was his birthday. And we talked about how the two of us, we both have very interior, time-consuming types of hobbies. He is a genealogist. But in his spare time, he loves to watch television. He's really into different sports, likes to have a lot of sport on the television. He also follows YouTubers who are really into transport, buses, trains, trams, that kind of thing. So we both have hobbies where we can be fully absorbed and quiet and in each other's company. And we like that. So again, I don't, even though it is a lot of time and probably to some people maybe looks shocking, it actually works for the two of us as things are. Now, regarding tagging other people, down in my description box, yes, there's a great long list of names. However, I'm really aware that I'm asking people to do more than just get onto their smartphones and record some answers to questions. I'm saying, oh, you've got to log your time for a week. That's a big commitment of time. So by all means, nobody needs to feel the least bit worried about turning down this invitation to a tag. Do it if you would really like to know yourself how much time you spend and how it breaks down the way I did, because I found it insightful. And I thought, yeah, now that I know, I would like to work to improve the reading and then measure again, perhaps in a few months' time, to see if I've changed the balance in any way. And that just leaves me to say that Sunday is Middlemarch Meditation Day, everybody. Rosamund Vinci and Mary Garth get to have a long private conversation. In chapter 12, we're going to cover that, definitely. In the meantime, everybody, happy reading. Hope you get enough reading, writing, creating time, however you want to spend it. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.